Hey guys, my name is Paul and welcome back to my trading channel. Something which I wanted to show you today was a very basic trading pattern which I've used for the last couple of years. It's based on the 5-minute candle and I have done it almost every day where I could be disciplined enough to wake up early, and it's using the 5-minute candle. And it's something which is quite well known in the trading world. There's a lot of different variations about it, but this is something which I learnt myself when I was trying to get used to understanding trading patterns, the different time frames, the different time zones, so making use of the Asian session and the London session. And what it's called is the London Breakout. So it's probably one of the most commonly known trading setups, especially in the UK. And all what you do is you use the pound dollar and you actually use the 5-minute candle. So I use the 5-minute candle. I know that it's popular on the 15-minute and also the hour candle, but I like to try to maximize as much as I can with the 5-minute. And it's something which it's fairly simplistic. It's something which works about 56 to 58, maybe about 57% of the time on a one-to-one basis. So I know if you're trading with a risk of 1 and a reward of 1, it's not really good unless your percentage is above 50%. Otherwise, you're just going to be losing money. However, with this, it actually works on a 1 to 1.5 almost equally as well, about 52% of the time. So I like to take my trades on a 1 to 1.5 on this, but I'm just going to demonstrate what it is that we would do. So what I've done is, as you can see in front of me, I'm just using TradingView for purposes of demonstration, but I have marked out on here where the Asian session is. So for those of you who don't know, the Asian session runs from 12 midnight UK time through to 7 a.m. In the morning. So 7 a.m. is actually the start of the European session, not necessarily the London session, but it is called the London Breakout. But for these purposes, I've always done it midnight to 7 a.m. And what I'm looking for, just so you know, is I've put a box around the area of the Asian session. So I've marked up the highs and the lows of the area. As you'll see down at the bottom of my screen, it's demonstrating the time. So it's exactly on midnight. This is going to 7 a.m. The time is now on here using the replay tool. It is 6:35. So we're literally looking for a candle to either work its way up and then break out. I should really be using a blue candle with this, but to break out, and then we would set our target, or sorry, we would set our order. So we would order here, and we would set our stop loss at the nearest low. So let's say, for example, this was a low candle here. We would set our stop loss here, and we would set our target. I'm just going to do it for demonstration purposes at a 1-to-1. Our target would be somewhere up here. And similarly, if we were going to go down to the south side, we would be looking for a breakout down here, and we would set our stop loss about here at the nearest high. We would set our order right here, and our target would be somewhere down here. So that's what we're looking for. So a breakout, if I was to demonstrate a purpose somewhere over here, let's say, for example, this is the Asian session. Sorry for my lack of straight lines. The breakout would have been this candle here, this little blue one. The swing low on this would be here. So we would set our target somewhere up here. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. So I'm just going to press play, and we're going to take the trade as it comes out. Here we go. So we've gone past 7 a.m. and it looked as though we were going to break out, and again, but we didn't, because what we're seeing is that price is closing just on the line. I probably wouldn't take this trade. It's only about half a pip out. Just as well. And there we go. We have our breakout candle. So what we would do is I'm just going to mark our short position. Our short position we would get stuck in there. Our stop loss I would put there, even though a lot of people would say it's actually all the way up here. I would put it here because it's such a big break on this one, and we are going to be targeting 1 to 1. So I'm just going to get our risk reward right here, and we're going to continue as if we're in this trade. There we go. So within a time period of 1.5 hours, we'd have taken profit, and it looks as though it would have continued on. So if I was to have done my 1.1, it would have hit that as well. And the beauty with this trading pattern, or this methodology, is once you've set it, you can forget it. You can walk away from your charts and just do something else, because you know that over 50% of the time this works. So what we'll do is I've marked on here another day, but I'm going to have to click about 1,000 times to get us to it. I wonder if this can be faster. Yep, much faster than I am. Here we go. I like the way the software can do this hard work for me. And I'm just going to pause it in a moment. Right. So here is our next session. So what you'll find as well, something which I should have mentioned, is that the Asian session is normally quite a tight range. So as I've mentioned in videos before, price here, for example, in the UK and the American session, price is pretty much going down. Okay, so that's in a bit of a trend, whereas price in the Asian session is pretty much, it's a tight range. You know, it's a very, very tight area where it's trading, and that's purely because the volatility during that time period. It's only the Asian session, the people in the UK are asleep, people in America have already finished their trading for the day. You know, it's just, there's less people trading it, and because it's the pound versus the dollar, it's not the primary pairs which you would trade if you're in Asia. You know, those pairs are a lot more like the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, and things like that. So what we're going to do again is we're just going to look for the breakout. We're literally looking for the breakout candle so we can figure out where we're going to put our stop loss. There we go, straight away, 7:05 we've got the breakout candle. Let's hope that this one plays out. So we start there, we'd put our stop below the nearest low, which is this one. We'd set our target up here. Now that may look like a bit of an ambitious target. Looking at this myself, I'm thinking this does look ambitious because it's going above the previous highs of the day before, or getting close to it anyway. So we're just going to play this out and see how it goes. Now see how that returns straight away? That's why it's worthwhile walking away from your desk as soon as you've placed this trade. Or if you're going to be trading throughout the day, just know that you've set this one and you do have a stronger than 50% possibility of landing these trades, because if this came back 50% towards your stop loss immediately, a lot of people would be in a bit of a panic mode. So we're going to keep on playing this out. There we go, straight away it's recovered. And there we go, we hit our target. And that was in a time period of 1 hour and 40 minutes. So again, if you're risking 1% of your account on each of these, you'd have gained, let's move this back to 1%, 2%, and then we're going to go again to the next box. Now bear in mind that previous Asian session and the session before were very tight. Now I like it when the sessions there are quite tight, because if they're in a range, I do tend to find that these don't work quite as well. So we're just going to find out for ourselves and see if this is a winning or a losing trade. Right, so it would now be the start of the European session, and as you can see, price is very much it's in an upward trajectory. So it looks like price is moving upwards. It's not in one of those tight zones like this where it's very easy to just, you know, take your profits. You're probably going to be waiting a little bit longer. But if it is going to be breaking to the upside on this one, I can already tell that the nearest area to set your stop loss is most likely here. So if I zoom in to make it a little bit more visible, there's actually, and if I move this out of the way, there's a blue line just down here, so right there, as you can see. So that's where you would most likely set your stop loss. But we will continue. Here we go, so we have our breakout. And the breakout is when the body extends beyond any of the wicks within that session. So again, we're going to set our targets. So our long position would be straight after that candle closes. Our stop loss is actually where we thought it would be. And our 1-to-1 risk reward ratio would be here. So now that actually looks, even though this was quite a big zone where price was just going up, it actually looks like price is just going to continue going up and we should be able to hit it. But you can't take past performance as a definite. Oh, there we go, 3 wins in a row. So that time frame was, to get your extra 1% there, that time frame was 50 minutes. Superb. Let's go on for the next one. The reason why these boxes are here, by the way, is that I've just gone back on the replay tool, but I've gone back far enough that I just simply don't remember where price is going to be going. So it is showing the range, but it's going back a bit further than what I can remember. So I'm actually doing this as if it's for the first time. So what we've got is we've got marked up our Asian session range, so the box, and straight away, so within 5 minutes of the session opening, we've got our breakout. So what we're going to do, and this one could be deemed quite a tricky one because it's all the way up here, all the way up there as our stop loss. So our target needs to be down at 1-to-1. This doesn't look very hopeful, to be honest. And that is our first loss. So for us to lose, that would have taken us 4 hours 35 minutes, which is one of the reasons why you don't want to be sat watching the charts, because if you've got to wait for 4.5 hours where the majority of that time it was in the negative, you don't want to put yourself through that torture. So how many have we got so far? I think we've got at least 3 wins and 1 loss. So we're moving on to the next one now. We're only going to do 5 with this, I think. I've marked up 10, but we're only going to do 5 because I don't want the video to be too long. So very nearly broke out. So what a lot of people do with their trading methodology for this is they actually buy the break. So they would have bought into these and they would be already in the red. So I don't do that. I look for the actual breaking candle and buy at the end of that candle. So it looked like it was going to break to the south. Is it actually going to break at all? It has. So here is the breakout. Long position right here. Stop loss under this swing low. Target, let's call it there. There we go. We'd have hit it definitely here, maybe even within 20 minutes or so. But this looks like it's going to be about a 45-minute trade. an hour and 5 minutes, and you'd have hit your target. So what was that in total? So there was a win there, so 1% there, minus 1%, so back to 0, 1%, 2%, 3%. So if that was a period of a week, so 5 days, and you grew your account by 3%, depending on the size of your account, that is pretty good going. So that is how to trade the London Breakout. Hopefully you can see that that was relatively easy, very, very simple. True, you do need to monitor the charts, but what you can do, something which I particularly like to do, is you can just set an alert. So I can't set an alert in replay mode, so let's go to current time. So let's say that this was the most recent box. All I would do is I would set an alert on the high and the low of the Asian session, and when the alert goes off, I can come back to my screen and I can see, right, okay, I only have to sit there for a couple of minutes to see whether or not it's going to break out and stay out, and if so, I can set my trade. So there's a nice little tip right at the end for you. Hopefully it's quite useful. But yeah, by all means, if you do have any questions, feel free to ask them and I'll do my best to respond to you. And yeah, take care. Cheers, guys.